All right, Tiffany, we'll turn it over to you. Thank you so much for joining our World Health Network daily call.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much, Katie. It's so great to see you. It's great to see everyone here. Thanks for inviting me to this call, and I'm going to try to make it, when I can. I haven't been on a daily call in a while, so I'll be in and out more often. But I'm Tiffany James. I'm in Columbia, South Carolina, and I am. Basically one of the organizers here in South Carolina, leading the Zero COVID Coalition, Zero COVID SC Coalition. And basically, our group is comprised of organizations from across the state. So, different nonprofits and social justice organizations, also businesses and government entities such as our health department, DHEC, Department of Health and Environmental Control of South Carolina. They are a part of our coalition as well. Um, and they are mostly there to just give information and to assist us in any efforts that we're doing. But the purpose of our organization, or the purpose of our coalition, is so we can help each other out and help fill in the gaps. So if an organization is working on testing, another organization's efforts is on vaccination, another organization's effort is on mutual aid, we can hear what's going on across the state, and also chip in and help out when they need manpower from outside of their organizations. But we're also um, you know work to raise awareness about COVID-19, and just the evolution of it, right? And everything that we're going through, um, with this virus. I started working with in coronavirus at the beginning of the pandemic, I guess around April of 2020, and been working with all of the initiatives such as Zero COVID and the World Health Network and the COVID Action Group, because I truly believe that there is a path to zero and that we can achieve zero COVID if we actually implement the strategies, the zero COVID strategies. So I've been a advocate of zero COVID strategies since the beginning, and that's what our main goal is in South Carolina, is to push that message, but also to make sure people are protected by giving them the right information about how to protect themselves from COVID. So we do a lot of like misinformation and disinformation debunking. Like, as you all know, there's a lot of false things out there. And a lot of people believe that. So we spend a lot of energy, like either speaking, like having webinars, town halls, speaking to organizations virtually, and um, passing information out at vaccination events, just to update people on, the facts about the virus, and to inform people about the best preventative measures to keep themselves safe and their families safe and the community safe. Um, so I like to look at it as a three-step process, or a three-prong approach, and I call it like the three A's. So it's like awareness, action, and advocacy. At the beginning, we did more advocacy, so we advocated um, for alternative testing, like X-ray testing, and Yanir was really instrumental with giving us the information about that and helping us push that, um, and get that off of the ground in one of our counties here in South Carolina. And this was before vaccination, so a lot of people was kind of didn't really know what to do to organize. And so this actually gave people something that they could do to keep people safe during the pandemic, was to advocate for more testing, alternative testing, and to also advocate for isolation spaces, and advocate for mask mandates and mask usage in public spaces, and also to advocate for, at that time it was for a lockdown. People was not really People were not really excited about the idea of a lockdown. So after we had kind of like a 3-week mandated lockdown here in South Carolina, people were over it. They wanted to get back to normal, right? But I think at this point in time, people are looking at it like, wow, like we never did get back to normal. And right now, people are really frustrated. People are really mad. A lot of people have lost their lives. A lot of people lost their loved ones. A lot of people have lost their lives while they're living, like their actual way of life, right? And people are frustrated and they're tired. And I like to say, Fannie Lou Hamer, civil rights leader, she used to say, when are we going to be sick and tired? No, she said, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. And literally, that's where we should be. We all should be sick and tired of us being sick and tired, right? And I think people are getting at that tipping point where they're there. And so we are basically right now building on that energy, building on that frustration, um, and saying that yes, there is another way. Um, for a while, or basically right now, in the media and in society, we're getting messages like, vaccinations are the only way out of this pandemic. And we even see vaccine shaming. I'm for getting vaccinated. Our efforts, I guess, our action approach after advocacy, our action was to, set up vaccination sites. And we did that. And we're still doing that. But we still are trying to get the message across that vaccines are not the only answer. Um, and it's a part of the solution, but not the solution. And that's the main message right now. We've been fed that we can vaccinate ourselves out of this, when in fact, as we all know, vaccines doesn't stop the spread of the virus, but it stops, or it can prevent severe illness and or death, um, and it prevents hospitalization. It helps to prevent hospitalization, but that doesn't stop the spread. So that was our action, doing vaccination clinics. Our advocacy was mostly in the beginning, and we were doing awareness throughout the entire campaign. And now our action is, we are putting our focus on zero COVID strategy. So now what we're saying is, we've tried X, Y, and Z, and we're still here. You know, we've tried your version of a lockdown. We've tried, vaccinating our way out of this. We've tried these different methods, and we were assured that we had victory over this virus. And as you all remember, or I don't know if you all remember this, but in July, President Biden said that, said that in the US, we have victory over the virus. And that was not true. It was misleading. It was very misleading. Um, and, I'm not here, and I'm trying my hardest not to bash and not to bash any government entities. I think that they truly believe that they're doing the right thing. It's just that they're not, they don't have the right strategies. They don't have the right strategies to stop the spread, and their focus is in the wrong place. I think we all know that just around the world, the focus is not on stopping the virus. The focus is on how do we manage to live with it. And so right now, what we're doing, um, um, part of our advocacy. We're building that back up again. And right now, what we're doing is we're going to have a petition, like a zero COVID petition. And that's not just for South Carolina, but just for people who agree with the zero COVID strategy to sign. The intent behind that is to raise more awareness about another way to, or a more effective way to deal with this virus. So we're going to put out a change.org petition. Katie is going to help with that. And we're going to have a massive campaign around it to just promote it, ask people to sign on board, so we can get people to sign and actually, push for it for, wherever they're at, push for that to happen, whether that's at the federal level or if it's in their local areas. I don't know if change.org is global. Do you know, Katie?
I don't know.
Yeah, so I don't know if it's global, but I think that for it to go viral in the United States, that it will also the message will also you know spread throughout the world as well. So oh, it's global. Awesome. Okay. So if we get enough people on there to say to our governments, this is what we want. There is another way, and this is what we want. We've never tried this. And what we also want is for us to get paid to stay home. And if possible, have businesses paid to be closed for 5 weeks. And it all has to be done at the same time. We can't have, one area, you know, doing the zero COVID strategy and then the next town over is not, it's just not going to work that way. We can't have like different pieces. Maybe it could be a regional thing. Maybe it can be a regional thing if the whole country doesn't feel like they can grasp this concept, in its entirety throughout the country that we're in. Maybe it could work as a regional thing, but I don't believe, and I just can't see it working like city by city. Um, just knowing that people work and live in different cities, like they travel, to neighboring cities all the time, so we're gonna put that out and see what happens. One thing that we're working on in South Carolina is having weekly zero COVID rallies. And the reason why we're gonna do weekly is because this virus, as we all know, is um is urgent. It's urgent. Could someone read that in the chat for me? Oh, I see. I
Oh,
see.
yeah, it might be a good time for us to move to questions and
Oh, okay.
comments for Tiffany.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. So just to wrap up what I was saying,
Yes, please.
the petition is what we're doing, and also we're going to do the weekly rallies in order to get people fired up and to spread the message. I think it's just really important to get the message out there, so people can decide what they want to do with it. I think the major thing is people just don't know that there's something else, another different strategy that our leaders can take to keep us safe and protected. So yeah, we could definitely go into questions now, and um, I hope I wasn't all over the place while I was talking. But I see Chris Miller put in the chat, Australians have been told by their politicians that vaccinations are the way out of the current COVID pandemic. Oh, really, yesterday's doubled vaccination figures at 92.6% of Australians over 16 years old vaccinated are double vaccinated. Yesterday, we also had the grim news of our highest death rates in Australia wide. Australia wide. Um, guess what? Vaccinated our way out of this pandemic. It's not working in Australia. How much data do they need to catch on to this really? Absolutely. Yeah. And I know I talk a lot about, the US, but I really believe the entire world is dealing with the same thing the US is. Um And that's people who are leading our countries, feeding us this narrative that vaccinations are the only way out of this. And we just have to push back against that. And also say that, vaccination is a part of the plan, but it's not the entire plan. And you cannot push that narrative anymore. Do you have any other questions?
I I have a question that might be helpful for other people to hear, but if somebody wanted to start local action,
Mhm.
where would you suggest they start if they didn't like the way things were going, say like in their town or on their state level, if somebody was brand new, like where might they begin?
Yeah, I would begin with organizations that are already doing COVID advocacy work. So finding those organizations and um, presenting them with zero COVID strategy, presenting them with demands. Say, hey, is there a way that your organization can adopt this strategy? Help us push it. Can I am putting together a coalition. I would love for your organization to be a part of it. This is what we stand for, and start building it that way.
Yeah,
But I would say that just look for the organizations that's doing the work. There's a quote, and I can't remember who said it, but they said, always look for the helpers. So, who are the helpers during this pandemic in your area?
That was Mr. Rogers.
Oh, yay. Okay. Yes, Mr. Rogers. Always look for,
Yeah,
we got to
that's right.
adopt the Mr. Rogers method. Look for the helpers.
That's right.
yeah. So Caitlin dropped a question in the chat. Caitlin, would you like to ask it or?
Yeah, I was just curious to hear more about the rallies and have you done something like this before? What is that going to look like?
Yeah, so actually we have done one virtual rally before, and it was actually a year ago today. My brother, who's also a part of the coalition, he was a part of Biden's inaugural Martin Luther King Jr. Um, committee, service committee, and so we had to plan like virtual service projects or virtual service events. So naturally, since he was a part of the zero COVID work, he said, "Well, this is going to be, the Biden administration zero COVID rally that we do for South Carolina," and that was actually a year ago today. I saw that on my Facebook memories, and that went really well. I actually want to look at. I'm actually going to go back to that recording and listen to it so I can just really be inspired from that. But we had a lot of people join us from across the state. We had great speakers. So what I envision it to be, and we don't have it set in stone yet. Our committee is meeting tomorrow to kind of put together a program, but I envision it to include people like have COVID survivors, like each week have a COVID survivor um, tell their story and basically give their input about, you know, what they think about the zero COVID strategy and why they think that is something we should adopt. And then we'll have someone inform us about the virus. So we'll have like a professional, public health or professional or scientist like talk about an update. Since the virus is changing every week, there's always something new, right? So just informing us about our current state. So we'll have like a storytelling component, information component, and then we'll have like a rallying call component. And that's when we'll have someone speak about what we all need to do and why we need to do it. So those are the three components, I think, or the three speakers that we would like to have every week to rally people up. And it helps getting the speakers because they can bring their followings if they are public figures. And then also what we're doing for the rallies, we're having sponsoring organizations. We have organizations sponsor the rallies. So they are or be partners with the rally, right? So organizations that are already part of our coalition will have them on the flyer. And a lot of people throughout the state know the names of these organizations. So one is the Women Rights Empowerment Network. Across the state, they know that this organization fights for women's rights, reproductive rights, gender justice, and all of that. And it's a very popular organization. So people will see that name on the Zero COVID flyer, and that their following would join in. And the following from the NAACP, if they are partners on the flyer, they will join in. So our goal is to get like different organizations on the flyer as we're promoting it, so they can bring their audiences to the rally, have those 3 speakers speak on, tell the story, give the information, and rally people up for action.
Thank
and
you.
I like that the rally, the school strike hashtag. Yes, and we'll have a hashtag so people can post while the rally is going on. So
Thanks,
I hope that
Tiffany.
helps.
Yeah, we have another question from Tatiana.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry. Thank you, Tiffany, for talking to us. This is really hard work you're doing.
Thank you.
And I know it's not an easy message to talk about. And there's a lot of very loud opposition that's not so simple to address. So I just wonder what you've seen in that regard, and how do you do it?
Yeah, so I live in the state of really loud opposition, trust me. So South Carolina, as a lot of you may know, South Carolina is a red state, and red is, definitely conservative. And at this point in time in the US, the Conservative Party is very radical. I mean, you all saw the insurrection on the news, and that's the opposition that we're faced up against, because a lot of the people who went to the insurrection were from South Carolina. I've been approached by people for wearing my mask, so it's not easy. It's not easy, but I mean, I never thought it would be easy either. And I already know the climate here. I already know the people here. It's going to be hard, but the more people we have backing the movement, the harder it will be. The more we can drown out the noise. So their noise, it's hard because their noise is louder, really. So we just have to build this coalition to where we drown out the noise, and we can put out the message that your way is not the way that we want. And I think we can do that.
Yeah, and Tiffany, I know you had mentioned that you were starting to see folks on social media asking to be paid to stay home. So we want to talk about that opportunity and the shift there, just because things are getting so tough.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, and I want to also say, I think this right now is the time to really push it, because once Omicron starts, subsiding, people are going to get comfortable again and not think that this is serious. We have, amnesia when it comes to this virus. And so I think this is the time to say, okay, this is what we need to push for. And if we can't get it now, how can we make sure that it's in place for the next one? And one of the ways that we may position it is, if we get back to the levels of this many, cases or this many hospitalizations or whatever, we demand to be put on a paid lockdown, right? We demand for that. I think that the opposition, and this is kind of just going back to the question, I think the opposition, and this is just me, it will be less opposition if people are being paid to stay home. And also if businesses are being paid to shut down, because I can't imagine a business to say, and I'm not talking about the large corporations. I'm talking about like the several small businesses that we have in our towns. I can't imagine a business saying, no, I refuse your money. I want to stay open, and, take their chances during a time where people are deciding to lock down because they're being paid to stay home. Does that make sense? But there's a lot of things I can't fathom, So I just think it's worth the try. And I think that, positioning this for the next time, because as we've seen before, there will be a next time. Position it for the next time will be perfect, but we can go ahead and start now, hoping that it happens now, but putting ourselves out there to where it will actually be more obtainable for the next time. So I don't know if that answers the question, Katie.
No, I just wanted, yeah, you did. Thank you so much.
Okay.
It does.
We have time for one or two more questions. We're at the 5:30 mark now. All right. Well, it seems as though we are good for time and questions. So thank you so much, Tiffany, for joining us today.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
Of course.
Thank you, Tiffany.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tiffany.
Thanks, Tiffany. Thanks, y'all.